What did you invent? Well, why did it just add 30 seconds to the start of this? That's fucking weird as shit. It did that on the last one of these, and I canceled the video. Guess I'll just let this one run. I hope it doesn't add 30 seconds of dead air at the front of my fucking video. Cat, you're retarded. My cat just attacked an open knife sitting on a bed. Like, it's just open there, open cold steel knife, sitting on a bed next to a cat. And he just, out of nowhere, while he was licking himself, turned, looked at it, and bit the tip of it, and then pulled back and started licking himself again. Like, quit looking at me, wrong knife. I'm gonna fucking smack you. What the fuck is up with that, cat? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Anyway, other than my cat being a psycho and, you know, the whole end of the world, and apparently my audio doesn't suck too bad from the air conditioner. I listened to it for a little bit and it sounded okay, so we're gonna keep making videos. Oh, this is the debate that I'm doing right now. Cold steel SR1 in S35VN versus spending that $130 on a Spyderco versus spending that $130 on 3 more SR1 lights and just having a fucking pile of beater knives. Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards getting like a Spyderco that I had my eye on and a pile of SR1 lights, and that might be the way I go. I keep trying to talk myself into buying the SR1 and the better steel. Ugh, I just can't do it. Honestly, if they had made the SR1 light in a better steel for more money, I would have bought that. I'm not paying more money on a beater knife to have fucking G10 or fucking micarta or whatever that was. I don't remember what. I think it was textured G10 of some sort. I wouldn't pay extra for that. Not on what this knife is. It is nice that they had it, but it at least should have been black. You should definitely have a black version of it. I get the green. I like offering different colors. I would have done black and green for sure. And maybe make the expensive one the green one in S35BN, but then make one that is an S30V and make it under $100. Somewhere between $50 and $100. That's what I'm willing to pay for one of these in S35. Sorry, an S30V. S35VN is unnecessary. Like, I would like a steel upgrade, but I would even take 154 CM. I would take any reasonable cutlery steel in this SR1 light exactly as it is, made in Taiwan, at a $70 price point. So if you could make a 154 CM SR1 light at a $70 price point, even made in Taiwan if it has to be, that's dope. Now, if there's a Taiwanese equivalent to 154 CM, I'd be down for that. Or if you wanted to use Japanese ATS 34, I'd be down for that. Or S30V. Like I said, the S30V is cheap enough now you could use S30V. And like, I know you're like, well, the other one's S35V, and yeah, but that's a little bit more expensive steel still. It's about the amount that they've made, you know. S30V has become a de facto cutlery steel, and I'm guessing has found a billion other uses in industrial applications considering its properties. It's nice. And as a result, they make a lot of that, and steel is priced by how much of it you make. If you don't make any of it, then it's worth nothing. But, I mean, if you don't make very much of it, it's worth a lot. So like Damascus, that's handmade in a special pattern, shit's worth a lot. How about cold rolled steel? Nope, it's not worth a lot. Okay, what about 5160? Nope, ain't worth a lot either, because like everything on Earth is made of 5160 practically. It's made of, a spring or whatever. There's more 5160 in most junkyards than you'd ever fucking imagine. Is there any steel that is worth money? Well, arguably, those stainless steels, I would say S30V and 154CM are both worth paying money for. 154CM is the American-made version of ATS 34. It's a good steel for knives. It's the first of the super steels. That is, to me, my bare minimum acceptable of blade steel. If I'm paying a lot of money for something, it needs to at least be that. If it's a cheap knife, this SR1 Lite is 8CR14 MOV. These Chinese steels do a decent enough job, and like I said, this is kind of a beater knife. I would prefer this thing in any other steel. I wish this thing was D2. This thing in D2 would be a bitchin' blade, and that's the thing they don't understand is they're making a cheap beater knife. This thing shouldn't be stainless at all. Like, I would make this thing out of, 1095 or 5160 or D2. At least make a version of that and make it at like the $50 price point. That's $10 more than your current shit Chinese steel offering. Hell, you might even go 20. I would pay $60 for this knife in D2. And as outdoorsy of a knife as this is, there's a community of people wanting to buy this in carbon. I don't understand them at all. However, I really dig this knife. It's really strong, and there's an expensive version and a cheap version. I think pretty much this is my go-to. I think I'm just going to get multiples of the cheap one. I don't know. I'm definitely going to get a Spyderco too. I have my eye on a Manix 2 translucent blue. $115. I like that knife. I like the color. I want to get one of those before they're gone. And that knife is already like $300 on eBay, so I'm definitely going to get one of those just to have it. And past that, I'm seriously thinking about buying like one cold steel SR1 a month until I have a pile of them. And the thought there is like, I want to have one or two that I use and have like 10 that are new in box. And like, this is just the knife I use from now on. And like, some of these are going to be to give away. Some of these are going to be to replace my knife when I lose it. Some of these are going to be to customize and give away. I want to do that some. And like when I say giveaway, I mean like I have family and shit that have Christmases and birthdays and shit. And for a minute, I know what some guys in my family are going to be getting. Perfect gift. It's a badass knife. There's not a man in the world that would hold the Cold Steel SR1 and not be impressed by it. It's a chunky knife, and I like that. It's the kind of knife that you'd want to keep in your glove box in case your car got stuck someplace. And I'm kind of thinking about for Christmas this year giving pocket knives. And I'm thinking of getting multi-tools for basically most of the kids and my female cousins. And maybe like my mom and grandma. And then for like my uncles and my mom's boyfriend and maybe a special someone in my life, getting them pocket knives. And at least a couple of those are going to be these SR1s, I think. This is about the amount that I'm looking to spend on Christmas gifts this year is about $40. And I can get rebars for about $40. And for the kids, I'm going to have to get the rebar with a knife because it's just going to make things easier. But those are $80 fucking. So I don't know. The kids may not all get one of those. That might be a gift for my nephew and my cousin's eldest son. Like, it's weird. I have two cousins. They have three kids. The youngest one has the oldest kid, and the oldest one has two kids that are younger than her. So, it's all a fucking mess. But I don't know what to do, really. So, I'm planning for Christmas for people and buying a bag full of knives. And then if I have other things to give them later, I'll have that too, or could even do that instead. But like, this is like a Santa Claus bag of shit for fucking Christmas. Is kind of what I'm poking shit away for. And I want to have stuff that I like, that other people will like, that worth X amount of money. And I'd really love to have a fucking garage full of cold steel product. There's so many people in Oklahoma that I know probably have a wish list from a cold steel catalog. Like, I'm not the only one that likes knives. I don't know if that's going to get me through a fucking depression or not. I'm hoping. I think with what's going on, if you don't own it outright and have it in your possession right now, and it works without the internet, it's not yours. I went and smashed my other laptop to some extent because I was frustrated to shit by the fact that everything on that goddamn laptop was linked into the internet so much that it didn't fucking work away from it. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. I really like this Apple computer because it's old school and made to be independent. It has Wi-Fi running to it right now, but like if it didn't, I just wouldn't be able to use the internet. I would still be able to watch all of the shit that's on it, though. That's what I was running into, is my iTunes didn't even work without the fucking internet on. I'm like, fuck this. So now I'm spending money to restore this bitch. I probably should have fucking sold the other one. But I was in a spiritual state. I don't know what other Spydercos to get. I told my buddy I'd buy his paramilitary too. And I do want to do that still. But to be honest, it's kind of like I've just figured out the knives that I want to carry. And it's not a paramilitary too. I'll probably still buy that just to have it in my collection. But like, I would feel bad to say, no, I don't want that. But at the same time, like, it's going to probably be a couple of weeks to a month or two. And like, I don't know. I hate to leave people waiting like that. And I have, God damn it. I have a couple people waiting on shit that I need to ship them too. I'm going to get that done tomorrow. Tim, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry, man. Like, I've owed Tim a knife for a few weeks now, and it's been one of those, like, that happened around the time that my fucking catalytic converter got cut off. And then shortly right after that, I lost my other car because my parents needed my brother's car back, basically. And it was nice of my brother to loan me that, and I still need to do something for him. My brother is in prison right now. So there's quite a bit that I could probably do for him. And I kind of figure spoiling the fuck out of his kid for his birthday is probably a number one. That's why I think that kid's definitely getting a fucking Leatherman without a knife. because fuck his mom. I have a full toolkit that I'm giving him, and a headlamp, and a canteen, and a couple Star Wars action figures that are robots. I'm giving him a whole bunch of shit that I would have liked when I was his age, and I hope he likes some of it. My other nephew, I guess, I don't know what to call him. He's my cousin's kid. But like my cousins were my sisters growing up, basically. Like we were as tight as I had. Like they're the only family I probably will have left here in a few years. Anyway, he's into board games, and I have a copy of Stratego that I love that I never have anyone to play, so I'm gonna give it to him. Maybe he'll learn to play it. And I don't know what else I'm gonna give him. He's a little younger. I have a box of Army Men I might give him. Trying to. I have a bunch of old toys and shit that I don't really need, but like I'd like someone to have them that was going to enjoy them and love them. I'm kind of trying to sort through that shit and see what needs to stay in a memory box and what needs to like go find a new home. And like it's a bunch of stuff that I was saving for my kids, but I'm realizing now that I will never have children. If I do, they'll be kids that I find in a fucking wasteland or some shit like that. Looks like we're getting closer to fucking nuclear oblivion every day. I also found a little Swiss Army knife that I like for maybe that kid's mom, maybe that kid. I don't know. I think I'm going to give it to that kid's mom and be like, whenever you want to give it to him, you could, or something like that. If I don't know. I don't really want to get into the details of that because there's only one of them and I want to go buy it, and it's, mum's the word on what that is or where it is. It's a neat knife, though. It's a Swiss Army knife SD Classic. You know that much about it. I like that knife as like a keychain knife. It makes a good one, and especially something to give a kid. Like there's a handful of ones. That's not what I would make a first knife that I would give a kid to be a first knife. But I don't know that this is gonna be a kid that's into knives like I'm into knives. So see how he likes it. It's kind of my thoughts on that one. Maybe he'll get a knifeless rebar at some point in the future too. I really think that's a pretty bitchin' multi-tool because like you're gonna get another knife like a Spyderco or Benchmade or Cold Steel or something. Although we don't buy Benchmades here because fuck those bastards. In case you ever wondered, I fucking hate Benchmade. Like they could just go to hell. Bunch of cop loving bastards. I really think the SR1 Lite, it's gonna be a thing that rides in my pocket now. I like it. It's a little heavy, but it's the knife that this is replacing is heavier than this, so I think it is light. But I like a longer, bigger blade. The knife that this is replacing for me is the Cold Steel Raja 2. I don't know that it's replacing it, but it's way easier to carry this SR1, and it does more of what I want in a knife. And it's more legal more places. Although I think there's basically no laws in Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the land where you can carry a samurai sword if you want to. Other Spydercos that I like, I don't really know. I know I want a Mannix 2, and I like the paramilitary 2. I like the Cold Steel Military. Oh, my buddy had a Endura 4 that I basically gave to him. I think I sold it to him for $20. But he's going to give it back to me because it's the first Spyderco I ever owned. And it's kind of a beater blade. And like that might actually be a knife that gets carried in my pocket a lot. And he's given me a what's it called? SOG Trident that I modified too. That I think I bought it for $15 and I sold it to him for $20 after I ground the serrations out. It's got kind of a fucking not chisel, like a Scandinavian chisel grind to it now, because I just took the fucking serrations out of it and just sharpened it until it all was even. It's a good knife, and it was cheap. My thing was I like the SOG Trident. I do not like partially serrated knives from SOG at all. I bought a Leatherman, right? That was fully serrated. That Leatherman rescue tool. That's a little bit of a different thing. You know, that's like on a multi-tool, a serrated only blade makes sense. A partially serrated blade never makes sense to me because basically it's not as useful as a fully serrated knife, and it's not as useful as a completely flat ground knife. It's neither fish nor fowl. I don't like it. I'd rather carry two blades. And that's the person you're talking to. So if you're not the kind of person that's going to carry three knives, you're on the wrong fucking channel. Like the three knives that I've decided to carry are, well, the four actually. I'm carrying four knives. I'm carrying the SR1 Light as a beater. That's just big and bold and fighting and whatever. And like it doesn't need to be that good a steel. The other one I want that I haven't bought yet is a Spyderco Mannix 2 translucent blue in BD1. I figure that'll be a good like EDC knife, backup purse knife kind of thing. And then for the tools, I have the Leatherman Skeletool RX, which is like the rescue Skeletool with a glass breaker and fully serrated knife. And its blade is 154 cm too, which is nice. And then for the primary tool, I like a Swiss Army Farmer. And I bought a new Farmer X in blue, and it should be here Friday, I think. I know it's weird to carry that many knives, but like in reality, that's a full toolkit, and like most of those knives are pretty light. Like the Mannix 2, for example, is 3 ounces. The SR1 Light is a little over 6 ounces, which is not bad. And then like the Skeletool and the Swiss Army knife are just gonna be heavy. I don't have the Farmer yet, so I don't know how much that weighs. But the Skeletool is like 6 ounces, also, if I remember right. It's actually that's not that bad for a fucking multi-tool. And this is my thing: is like right now I'm squaring away my pocket tools, and I'm kind of looking at my family and going, if I get them this shit right now, it could be in their cars when bad shit happens, and it could be the difference between life and death. So I think I'm going to keep buying this kind of shit and just buy a whole bunch of extras of it and have gifts. I'm going to keep buying SR1 lights as I see them cheap, and I'm going to keep getting Leatherman rebars. I'm going to try to get a bunch of people Leatherman rebars. And like there's a few people, I might get them a Leatherman rebar and an SR1 light. Like my mom's boyfriend is a knife guy. I like buying presents for him. Like I know that's weird, but like if you tell me you like pocket knives, you're gonna get pocket knives as presents. And my uncles, to some extent, like pocket knives too. So my uncle, one of them is he's kind of like a hunter, cowboy. He collects DVDs and likes to go hunting. I don't know what that is. He's him, and he also is like he's one of the men that introduced me to all of the things that I love. Like all of the stuff that I love is like a bunch of cowboy stuff from that uncle. My other uncle is like a drummer and a lot of other things, but he kind of likes the outdoors and camping and stuff too. And he likes knives, so I kind of got that on both sides from them. I was always the weirdo that was like into swords. So yes, I'm into knives. Knives are like tiny swords. Swords are just knives, but better. I think I'm gonna go fucking nuts stuck in here with the air conditioner off. It's getting late enough now. I think I might try it. Maybe it's defrosted. What are your thoughts? Which way would you go? And do you like Cold Steel or Spyderco? This is kind of where I'm at. Is like I know I want a nice Spyderco just to have one, but when it comes to actually like having blades to use, there's nothing wrong with the Chinese steel on this fucking SR1 light. And honestly, as a knife that I'm gonna fucking have to abuse and use in my pocket, I'm just gonna be resharpening that knife a lot. So yeah, B2 would be nice because it doesn't take as much damage, but it's also harder to resharpen. The shit that they got on there is soft enough that it takes a stone pretty well. I keep a diamond stone in my pockets usually, well, in my purse really. I'm used to not having a purse. Sorry. I like having the purse because it allows me to carry more knives and associated equipment. Like my EDC is so much better now. I think that's maybe like the thing the EDC community really doesn't like about me is I am legitimately pointing out how gay they are. But that's a topic for another day. See you guys later.